We have further updates from Europe. Protests are underway in central London, organised by controversial far-right figure Tommy Robinson under the title Unite the Kingdom. The police have confirmed that 110,000 people have attended the rally in the English capital. Marchers waved Union Jacks, St George's crosses and even US and Israeli flags, many wearing MAGA hats and chanting against Prime Minister Keir Starmer. The demonstration, called Unite the Kingdom, was billed a free speech rally and also a tribute to Conservative Charlie Kirk, who was recently shot dead in Utah. A counter-protest organised by Stand Up to Racism also gathered nearby. London police deployed over 1,600 officers to manage tensions across the city. Let's have a look at what some of the protesters are saying.
It's giving us back our freedom, our right to fly our flags, because we're being told as British people that we're not allowed to fly our flags anymore. Those that have painted the St George's Cross on the roundabouts, they've been taken off, our flags have been taken down, and we're just basically protesting to say, this is our country and we want it back. We want to be able to have our say.
To be proud and British and show the general public.
We are once again joined by Keith Vaz to discuss the situation which is currently unfolding in central London. Keith, 110,000 people today turned up to Tommy Robinson's protest. What does that say about the mood in Britain right now?
Well, that people are angry, that they find that the best way to express themselves is not through the ballot box, but through marches. We've got an impressive marching history. There's nothing unusual about getting 100,000 people to a march in London. After all, Wembley Stadium, which is our biggest football stadium, takes 100,000 people. And when there is a big match on, 100,000 people will go there. So it's not a kind of massive number. It is, however, a very large gathering of people for a particular cause. I think they were hoping for more. We don't know what the estimates of the other march was, but I would imagine it's much, much less. I think that they're angry. People are angry. I'm not quite sure who they want to claim the country back from, who they think is running the country, except a democratically elected government. It was only elected last July 2024. So who are they actually against? Also, this notion of free speech. Who is trying to deny free speech? This is another question that I think needs to be asked. So I think what is unusual about this is that an individual, Mr. Robinson, has called this march together and 100,000 people have turned up. That's quite a lot of people, given the fact that he is not the leader of a party. He is an individual, and therefore it's quite a lot of people heeding this particular call. People are definitely very, very angry. And the question is, how can the government of the United Kingdom address this issue? Because they're not going to get any support from the opposition, because the opposition exists to try and bring down the government, and the government exists in order to destroy the opposition. So that's not going to happen in Westminster. So people probably feel the best thing is to go out into the streets. This is a big, big wake-up call to the government. And even though the numbers are probably an underestimate, because the police always underestimate numbers in crowds. They don't stand there with clickers. They just estimate how many people. It's probably more than this. But still, it is not something that we should ignore. We should certainly take it very seriously, and people should listen carefully to what people are saying.
Yes, and Keith, and what about the? We can see by footage now. There's American flags. There's also Israeli flags being flown, and of course placards in regards to the assassination of Charlie Kirk. What does that say about this transatlantic right-wing movement that seems to have emerged?
Well, it's not just transatlantic, of course. You've also got the situation in Hungary. It's called populism. These are populist leaders who are saying, we are the forgotten people of our country, and we need to stand up, and we need to make sure that our voices are heard. So populism can be of the left and of the right. What we're seeing in France, for example, is the centre collapsing under Macron and the left and the right both working together to bring it down. And that's partly because Macron didn't do his homework and didn't go out and try and court the left, who he would prefer to court rather than the right. So I think what would be really good at this particular moment in time is to actually have a scoreboard to decide what exactly everybody wants. What does the right want? What does the centre stand for? What does the left stand for? In the old days, you had a very strong centre. It was called the Third Way. It was initiated by Bill Clinton and Tony Blair and leaders who were neither left nor right, but in the centre. The centre seems to have disappeared. Nobody knows who represents the centre. And therefore, this is left very much to the decision-making of the streets. Where I worry is if populism goes from being elected, which it is in America, democratically election, you have Donald Trump there, Viktor Orban being elected in Hungary, you have Maria Le Pen waiting to take power in France, Bolsonaro has just been sent to prison for what he's done. So when that translates and goes beyond the ballot box, that's when you feel rather worried. But of course, they're in power in America, so I'm not quite sure why they feel that that populism isn't acceptable to them. Because if this is populism, you know, changing your mind every single day as to what your policy is, it doesn't lead to stability. You do need to have some core values if you're going to be there. But this is democracy. Demonstrations of this kind happen. They're good for democracy. Much better that people take to the streets, express their views, leaders listen, rather than anything else. One of the great things about our country is that there is free speech. So this notion that there is no free speech is nonsense. Of course there's free speech.
Yes.
People are allowed to say whatever they want.
Keith Vaz, thank you so much for joining us. Absolute pleasure to have you on the programme on that story. We now move on and over to